I would go for it now and then with my stiff little fingers on another one of the Nobody's Heroes with my inflammable material almost alight. I would have no sleep till Belfast after one of the runaway boys gave me some choo-choo hotfish for my potion. I would rock this town like it was a rumble-in Brixton, entice another one of the stray cats and do the dirty boogie. As she entered into my love folly, it was black and white for the stranglers that she would become one of the individuals who would see the saints as I took a little madness to be free. The simple minds of sons and fascination who once upon a time lived in a new gold dream gave her the promise of a diamond life in the sky, a real Graceland. She was just spider bait, and I would do the grand slam tonight. All right. After the stroke subsided, I thought, is this it? The Queen is dead, and I'm still left with a hat full of hollows. With the bad moon rising, the star power for some more dirty goo from some sonic youth in the experimental jet set had my scatterbrain going, here comes trouble, another scam boogery. I was mundus intellectus, and the art of rebellion led me to join the army for freedom, and with my suicidal tendencies, I was still psycho after all these years. I went into the big night music with my oil and gold and found a shriek-back garage flower, and as she turns into stone and becomes a slave to the grind, another skid row of her love, devotion, surrender to Barbarella opens the inner secrets of her moonflower, and without much persuasion she is slayed. I took the Supertramp to breakfast in America and did some bad for good with my Sex Pistols blazing. It was never mind the bullocks until I was flogging a dead horse and I had to make tea for the tillerman. After the sting, I felt nothing like the sun. I had a dream of blue turtles and woke up straight in the gay world, like living in the 70s where ego was not a dirty word. I could feel the rising of the river of devils and dust, and the magic potion gave me the promise to be born to run through the looking grass to where once upon a time my life will bring me some sugar cubes, and they would stick around for joy until life's too good. And I would raise the swerve driver, start tossing seeds, and take a super chunk of sugar until they turned copper blue, and it felt the raw power of the Stooges in my vagabond heart. I had reached the Atlantic crossing, and like stars in my hands, the single gun theory made me feel supernatural, but still connected to the deep down and dirty. Paradise of the double bubble, where since the accident the served heads had become cuisine with piscatera. I decided to go on a long natty run until my mind could spotlight on a fresh stand. The next orchid for the underworld came in sonic animation, and you could hear the sun scream as I turned a shocking blue. She was dressed in suede, but I stripped her nude and emptied a pocket full of kryptonite into a home-belly groove. I was not of this earth, just surfing with the alien, flying in a blue dream in my time machine. Like any of the Stone Temple pilots, I took it to the core with the tiny music of 12 purple gracious melodies, and in a state of skunk air, I needed to feed straight from the desk and get some chin-chin. I brought out the Saw Doctors and let her pieces blow up to smithereens, leaving me to go solo into the super unknown. With my bad motor finger down on the upside, with Louder Than Love, I entered the sound garden and shattered the status quo with my 12 gold bars. I was in sweet oblivion as I put the screaming trees through the buzz factory and ate the split ends, sending me into a super groove where I could control the traction of the cost of loving. With my style council, I could sit back in my shelter and chant my mantra of sacrilegious sounds for all the super suckers. The next table leaver who entered my land came at Easter. I was listening to Radio Ethiopia, and the hits were sweet. I tied her to the silver chair and did the frog stomp. I was born to be wild, and I'd use the Waxhaw principle to swoop down on another sugar ray with my lemonade and brownie colonies, and in 1454 she would be floored with a smash mouth in the Astro Lounge. And when she says, "Fuck you, man," I did the stush on the skunk and Nancy. It was Chaos AD, and I would arise organically synthetic with a sub-freak hot for some scroll-nut zippers. As I tightened the slip knot, I felt sublime and then gave it some extra width while I did the plastic bang. After some more width, I let my sideways soul go orange, and when I did it Crip style, she looked at me with, "Now I got worried." As I did the damage, the toxicity of the system of a down would mesmerize and hypnotize as my spearhead pierced a chocolate superhighway. It was lock, spot, crock. We are all sluts of trust, like a tourist in Saint-Germain. But here comes the sun. The selector went, "Ta-da!" And the Scissor Sisters, with a slash, would be the saboteurs on the consolers of the lonely and leave them broken boy soldiers. The slits I cut in her would make me hit the streets, just a stranger in town, a strapping young lad in the city with some pretzel logic looking for some romance.